Psychology of people who avoid eye contact. Someone is talking to you and you're looking just past them, at the wall, at the floor, at anything that is not their eyes. You're listening, you're fully present, but direct eye contact feels like too much, like standing too close to a fire. Maybe you look away mid-sentence and immediately wonder if they noticed. Maybe you practice looking, just long enough to seem normal. Then you glance away again and hope nobody clocked the pattern. People assume you're shy or untrustworthy, or not really listening. But here's what they are missing. Avoiding eye contact is rarely about the other person. It is almost always about what eye contact asks of you. Before anything else, you're not rude, you're not cold. You're not hiding something. Eye contact is one of the most intense forms of human connection that exists. It is direct, it is unfiltered. It bypasses everything you use to manage how you're perceived. For some people, that intensity is easy. For others, it is genuinely overwhelming. And that difference is not a character flaw, it is neurology. It is history. It is a nervous system doing its job. Eye contact is not just a social gesture, it is sensory input. When two people lock eyes, the brain activates rapidly. It reads emotion, it scans for threat. It tries to interpret intention all at the same time. For most people, this happens quickly, almost automatically. But for people with high sensitivity or sensory processing differences, that activation is louder, more intense. Eye contact does not just connect, it floods. Think about a song you love, played at a volume that hurts. The song is not the problem, the volume is. Eye contact for these people is not uncomfortable because of the person. It is uncomfortable because of the intensity of the signal itself. Looking away is not rejection, it is the volume being turned down. Just enough to stay in the room. There is something eyes do that nothing else does. They show what is actually there. Not the managed version, not the edited version, the real version. For people who work hard to keep their inner world private, eye contact feels like an open window into something they have not chosen to share. Maybe they are anxious right now and do not want that seen. Maybe they are sad and have been holding it carefully all day. Maybe they just feel too much, and eyes are where it shows. Looking away is not dishonesty, it is protection. It is the instinct to keep something sacred from being read before they are ready. Think about someone who grew up being told their emotions were too much. They learned early that being seen fully was not safe. Eye contact became a risk, not a connection, and the body remembered, long after the mind moved on. For some people, avoiding eye contact is about shame, not dramatic shame, quiet shame, the kind that sits just below the surface, most of the time unnoticed, but present. Eye contact invites the other person to really see you, and for someone carrying quiet shame, being really seen feels dangerous. What if they see the thing I'm hiding? What if they see how uncertain I actually am? What if they look into my eyes and find me lacking? So the gaze goes elsewhere, not because there's nothing there, but because there is so much that has never felt safe to show. This is not arrogance. This is someone trying to stay intact in an interaction that feels like it could crack them open. But here's the part most people never consider. Avoiding eye contact is sometimes the most present thing a person can do. Looking away is not always disconnection. Sometimes it is the only way to actually listen. Some people avoid eye contact because they are thinking. Really thinking. Eye contact requires a part of the brain that is also used for language processing. For people who process deeply, doing both at the same time is difficult. Something has to give, so the gaze shifts away, not out of disinterest. But so the mind can go deeper into what is being said, think about how you look up when you're trying to remember something, or how you stare into the distance when you're working something out. That is the same instinct. The person looking away from you is often the person listening hardest. The eyes went elsewhere, so the mind could stay fully with you. Not all avoidance of eye contact comes from sensitivity or shame. Some of it comes from much earlier, from the first relationships, where eye contact was taught, or not taught. Infants learn safety through the eyes of their caregivers. When a parent meets a child's gaze, with warmth and steadiness, the child learns that being seen is safe. But when that gaze was unpredictable, cold, or absent, the child learns something different, that eye contact carries risk. That being fully seen leads to something painful. That child grows up and the learning stays in the body. Not as a thought, as a reflex. The adult who looks away is sometimes still protecting. The child who learned that eyes were not always kind. This changes as people get older. In younger years, the avoidance can feel like failure. Everyone else seems comfortable holding a gaze. You practice in mirrors, you count seconds. You try to seem normal and feel exhausted by the effort. But somewhere in the 30s, something softens. You start to understand your own patterns without judging them as harshly. You find the people who do not need constant eye contact to feel connected. You discover that real intimacy does not always live in the eyes. Sometimes it lives in the voice, in the silence, in showing up even when looking away. At its core, avoiding eye contact is regulation. It is the nervous system, managing the intensity of connection so it does not become overwhelmed. It is a way of staying in the conversation without being consumed by it, a way of remaining present without losing the boundary of self. Think of it like dimming the lights. In a room that is too bright, the room is still there, the people are still there. You're still there, fully. You have just made it possible to stay. So here you are, the person who looks just past the eyes, who glances away mid-sentence, who has been called shy, or evasive, or hard to read. None of those are the truth. The truth is simpler and quieter than any of that. You feel things intensely, and eyes are where intensity lives. You protect what is inside you because it has always been worth protecting. You listen in your own way, deeply, without needing to perform the listening for someone else's comfort. There's nothing wrong with the way you move through connection. It is just quieter than most, and quieter has always been enough. You have always been enough.